Hey guys, it's my Sopods and more with me. I hope everything is going well with you, and you're taking care of yourselves and the ones that you love. It's raining, and I don't care. I don't have the shot set up well, but I don't care because hopefully you're here for my words, and I'll set up some more ideal stuff for you to look at throughout this. Before I go on to what I'm actually here for, I want to share something else. And again, this is a vlog, this is a personal thing. This is never about cities. This is about me venting, externalizing, which is getting things outside of my head into the ether so that either you or others can hear them and interact with them and judge them and give me feedback, or I can give myself feedback. So, I just dropped my daughters off, and now for 2 weeks straight, it has been non-stop. Dad this, Dad dinner. Can we go camp to see, go hang out with Cam? Can we go to the pool? Can we do devices? Can we go church? But, not complaining because it's awesome. But, then I'm thinking, okay, so they're going on Dad. I got to make dinner. I got to think, okay, they have their, the school thing that my ex set them up for. So I got to keep that in mind. And they have field trips on Thursdays. Remember to go grocery shopping because we have spaghetti. I have to take the hamburger out. Dad, it's this, and oh my goodness, it's bath day. Dad, can we go here? Dad, can we go to the pool? Yeah, Dad, we're at the pool. Can we go in? It's so hot. Can we go out and get some food today? We haven't, we haven't gotten pizza for a while. We haven't had tacos in a while. And then it's all this non-stop day next for, again, 2 weeks. I wake up at 6, going through, okay, now I got to make sure we get breakfast. I got to go through all these things. Laundry coming in there, again, doing laundry by myself. So that's what, things I have to juggle when if I'm making plans with someone to go with my kids. I have to make sure we have clean clothes or that I don't plan things right in the middle of laundry, coinciding with bath day dinners. Sunday comes, I go drop off my daughters at my ex's, and then it's this. And it sucks. It makes my life very, I don't know if manic is the right word, but just by nature of what I'm describing, I go from being immersed in everything to nothing. And I want to see my kids all the time. I never wanted this at all. I never signed up. I never moved towards this. It's very hard. The first days when my daughters go away, like I say, it's just, again, there's always something going on in the house. Now, even if I come from doing laundry, they don't say anything, but they're playing, jumping, doing devices, watching shows, laughing together. And now when I go home, it's just silence again. And that can be for days or weeks at a time, and it sucks. But that aside, I hope everything is going well with you and you're taking care of yourselves and the ones that you love. I want to talk specifically about being a confrontationalist. I mentioned it in a few live streams, specifically with Ninja Kitty. And so I want to explain what that is, why I do it, what that means, entirely, unpack it. You'll hear me say so many times, there are different facets to things. Decisions, choices, people, some good facets, some bad, some valuable, some not so much, some valuable to others, some not so much to others. It differs. And there's different facets to being a confrontationalist. What I mean by a confrontationalist is when there is an issue, and most people say it's not a good time, not right now, they're not in a good mood, I don't know how to say it, I don't know the right words, we very often do not address things because there will be confrontation, and most people understandably do not like confrontation. But by doing that, you're not addressing the whatever that issue is, whatever the confrontation is coming from. You're dancing around it, you're building things around it, and moving forward as if it doesn't exist. Now, you will probably not like me at some point. Part of being a confrontationalist is, and let me explain something first. This may not have happened with you, but this has happened to me very often. Let me know in the comments down below if this has or has not happened to you. But friends that I've literally grown up with, and by grown up with, I mean since we were kids, I can't remember some of the things we did before because we were so young, because my mom and their moms were friends. So people I grew up with since I was like 5 or 6, Marines, family members, people who said they loved me, wives, exes, friends, anyone in life, generally speaking, life will go smooth because we talk about all of the things that we agree on. We address the things we agree on, we deal with the things we agree on. And there again is nothing wrong with that. In my life though, and I'll give a couple examples, you come to this point where a decision, something with that person makes the situation, I'm trying to think of how to say this, where nothing prior to that mattered. You disagreed with them, you did something wrong, and that is unforgivable. Now, there are some things, cheating on someone, stealing, punching, all these things that, yes, they're legitimate, but I'm not talking about things like that because I don't do those things. But I may disagree with you politically. I may disagree with you on what about guns, about freedom, about what to do in Ukraine, about LGBTQ map things, all of these issues. What I consider a confrontationalist is I want at some point to bring those up with you. I want to get to those things where one day, if we get to that point, I'm going to find out, are you the person who is judgmental enough to the point where if I disagree strongly with Steve-O on these things, I will no longer want to associate with him and talk about him. I will think negatively about him. And again, everything that happened before no longer matters. Not if we knew each other for a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever the situation was. So let me say this. If I voted for Donald Trump, you may not like that. I may not like who you voted for. I will never say, but if you voted for that other person, I don't want to be around you. I don't like you. Now you're a bad person. But people have done that to me. Now, there are other situations where I have again, I'm a confrontationalist where, well, let me focus on the more immediate things. People say, they often say, and you may have heard people say, you don't talk about religions, politics, and sex. The reason is because it causes conflict. So if I'm with someone who, and I mean in any capacity, who is judgmental enough to, again, whether it's politics, religion, or sex, say, Steve-O, now I know before this I thought X, but now I think Y and you are Y, no longer X. I want to get there day one. I don't want to waste time on you if that is the kind of person you are. If you're not that kind of person, I will love you unconditionally. I will share things with you, hoping you accept me the same way I will accept you. But I want to get to that point now. So at some point, I will start to talk about religion and politics and life and God and America and history and slavery and guns and sexism and feminism with people like you. And again, if you're the kind of person who says, Steve-O tried to talk about this, so now I don't want to talk to him again, I'd rather find out day one or week one, not year one, not investing time, emotional energy, I can't even say the word, but what I meant was intellectual energy on you. I always say I can get time back. The exact opposite, see? I can make more money. I can get more isopods. I can meet new people. I can make maybe, hopefully, new friends. I can meet new people who are not going to be friends. I can have new experiences, travel, go to new places, see different animals out here. But with that, I can't get my time back. So I don't want to waste time on you. I want to know from day, as soon as possible, how you will judge me when we don't agree. I already know how I'm going to treat you. It's going to be one of two ways. You disagree with me and don't mind that we disagree. Good. Or again, we disagree and you don't want to be around me. I want that to happen very soon. Now, some specific examples. And again, these are somewhat convoluted. I'll try to give more, again, concrete ones. But I had a buddy of mine I knew since high school. I'm not going to say his name, but he was engaged to be married and asked me to stand up in his wedding. And I said yes, because I loved him and he was my friend. And I didn't know this woman. She was new in his life. And I don't know how she is now, but at the time she was not good for him. It was one of those where she wants to control who he can hang out with, under what capacity, and all of that. Just very controlling and constricting. At a campfire one night, she said something very insulting directly to my friend, his girlfriend, but she was my friend also. And it was very awkward. Everybody left. And I spoke to him and said, let me know when she's ready to apologize for what she said. Which led to him saying, she's not going to apologize and I'm not going to make her. Which then led to me saying, I'm not going to allow that, because if me or someone I knew insulted you, they would apologize, or I would apologize on their behalf, neither of which is happening. So you're condoning the fact that that damsel flew right by me, insulted someone like that. That's not acceptable. I said the same thing to her, which led to them, mainly her, agreeing that I'm no longer welcome to stand up in the wedding, rather than apologize for the insult.
And I wish I would have known that X amount of years earlier, that he was the kind of person to dump someone. Now again, that is a very difficult situation to try to bring about confrontationally. But that's an example of situations where I say, I wish I had known something about someone and that I could have brought up that confrontation earlier in my life and not invested that time, the love, the emotion that I put into a person that I cannot get back, that I could have either put on someone else or spent on me. I'm around in my life and I know when I spend something on me, it's going to be well spent. And the person is going to appreciate what they get. I don't know that for people. The other thing is, and this is very hard for me, and I kind of alluded to I talked about it kind of directly in my last vlog. There are people who I wish would have told me, Steve, when we say we love you, your family, what we mean is, as long as your wife is in the picture, we do all of that. But the moment she's not, we're not. Because to me, that's not love. I would rather have not had people say, we love you, you're my family, and then, because again, I want to be very clear. I made mistakes as a husband. I could have done better and all of these things. But I did not want the divorce, and I did not cause it. I tried to find things I could have done. And I just talked myself off the precipice with what I was going at. But let me take a moment. Oh. And what I'm kind of getting at is, if I had beat her, punched her, stole her money, all of those things, it would have made sense to me. To have... I wish those people would have said, Steve, you're an okay guy. You're welcome here with your wife. Because when my ex decided she didn't want to be with me, again, I'm trying to make the work. And some of these people, again, this is what makes it hard. Again, I hate thinking about this because it hurts, but some people I contacted, essentially, if not directly, saying, we are about to get divorced and is your friend. Maybe you should talk to her and help her and reach out. She's having a hard time. And it wasn't, and I didn't approach them saying, can you talk to her to make her want to stay with me? Because I assumed those would be part and parcel. And that's not how it worked. You know, that led those people where, again, I don't, eventually they would have wanted to cut me out of their life anyway, but if I would not have tried to get them to help her, and she would not have told them about the divorce longer, they would have been friends with me and in love and my family with me longer, not knowing that the divorce happened, but then retroactively said, oh, well, from the time you were divorced, I wish I would have known because now I'm not going to talk to you. Again, it just, I don't understand that, and I wish I would have known that about things. But I mean, again, and I kind of alluded to it in the beginning, so I think this is about the end of this vlog. I love and talking about what you think about politics, what you think about me, what you think about, again, hunting, abortion, women's rights, males' rights, slavery, again, the war in Ukraine and Russia, war in general, history, all of those things that are controversial that can cause you to not like me. I want to know up front, are you know, is it worth that investment? Now, with that, just because I don't think of you at that level, we can still associate accordingly, but there will be that difference. And you know, we can get into semantics, whether it's more what is someone a friend versus an acquaintance, or an associate versus a peer. So my point is, while, and again, this is, when I think of the term judgmental, I find myself very judgmental because, like I say, I want to know what you think about the same things that we're talking about, but not to the degree that I say it only matters to me in the point of when we will talk about it, how we talk about it. Not, I don't want to talk about it because we disagree, or because I know they don't agree with me, or because there may be that conflict. I don't mind the conflict. I mean, I spend as much time as I can talking with people who disagree with me. And that is the interesting thing about being a confrontationalist, in my opinion, one of the facets of it that I should say, and I really want to try to stop it here because it's coming up on 20 minutes, but let's say I'm willing to talk to you about the fact that I'm voting for Donald Trump, and you come to me and say, Steve-O, you say you want to vote for Donald Trump, I won't, and here's why. Two potentially things should happen. One, I listen to you honestly. I know you're being honest and not attacking me. You're just being candid with me. And then when you do, you say, I believe this, and I say, okay, well, you believe that, but I view from here and believe this, and I understand you from here, and I'm not even saying that's not valid, but can you understand my position from here? And at that point, again, I can sit there and say, take a step back, because I engaged you honestly and said, yeah, they challenged me, I challenged myself, but I still believe what I did, not disrespectful about it. It's not like I closed my ears and said, no, not listening. I engaged you rationally, respected your opinion and understand it, just I don't agree with it. Or the opposite, in that the same thing, we talk, we listen, I do that, and you come up to me and you say, once you presented me with X, Y, and Z about, as we were saying, Donald Trump, and I can't sit there logically, reasonably say, well, you do say that, but my perspective is this. Well, I'm consistent in this, but in doing so now that makes me inconsistent, and I start to see that I'm all of these things. A couple of ducks are coming by. Sorry. But my point is, now I'm in a position where if I'm honest with myself, I won't vote for Donald Trump because you listened to me and engaged me. And in that, I'm not trying to convince you to vote for Donald Trump, ever. but I'm at least trying to convince you that maybe you're not this phobist or this person who's bad just because I voted for someone that you disagree with. Maybe you can at least say, okay, now maybe at least some people who make that position, hold that position, are not doing it. Now I will sit there and say that yes, of course there are people who do it who are ists and obias and all of that, but that's not me. Similarly, I don't want to blanket you with whoever disagrees me is whatever the most negative aspect of that, or negative facet of that, ideology is, and focus on only that. You guys got it? They're going over the bridge. So being a confrontationalist, you are naturally promoting honesty within yourself if you are being confrontational from a genuine position. Because I've always been a confrontationalist. I've always had heterodox, contradictory opinions. But it was for so long, just watching them eat is awesome. I've started to unpack that more, mature more with it. Where, again, there are facets. There are negative facets to being a confrontationalist. Like I said, because you're confrontational. You ask a lot of questions. Someone says something, I believe this, and you say, why? Now, I always say the most beautiful question is why, because you get answers. Even if you don't get an answer, so if you say, when you say you're a good person, what makes you a good person? Why are you a good person? And that person says, I don't need to explain myself to you. Who are you? You may know they may not sound like such a good person. Even though you didn't get what a good person is, that doesn't sound like a good person. That's something that you learn about that person. So again, you learned that they may not be the person who is what they say. Or if they do, you may want to ask more questions. Like, oh, you say you're a good father. You say you'd be a good person for me to date. Why? These moths. That is the most beautiful thing about being a confrontationalist. Now, I can't say this for everybody, but I will say this with me, and then I'm going to close it out. The most beautiful thing is, as I keep saying, you can disagree with me as long as you're not attacking, insulting, and it's a rational position. Not one that you expect me to believe, more so if you can't even explain to me why I should listen to you, why I should change, why I should say I'm wrong. My hat just fell off of this, but it's kind of stopped raining, but it's over anyway. But that to me is, at least, again, this is very rough. I don't have any script. Of what being a confrontationalist is about, why it's important to me, and why I also understand, as I said at some point in the beginning, that was odd. It was just a heavy stone thud here. You probably will not like me. I'll probably come off as abrasive. But I hope you can at least appreciate the fact that that is going to happen. Unless you are a vendor, a person in the industry, someone who none of that matters to, I can be okay with that. Because if that's the basis of our relationship. But if the basis of our relationship is having conversations, being candid, getting to know who I am, where I came from, how I got here, the mistakes I've made, all of that I'm willing to share. And you may be too. And if you are, I can tell you this and assure you, I am one of the most wonderful people you will ever meet. I have made mistakes and dumb things, done things that I've regret, done things in hindsight, done things logically I kind of look back at. And in that, I don't like to be hypocritical. So while I may say what you're doing is wrong, I won't judge you and say I don't want to be around you and what you're doing is the worst, and that I can't talk to you for doing what I already did, because then by that measure, you shouldn't talk to me for doing what you already did. It's that again, I try not to be hypocritical. If I do address it, I try to make it positive. Hey, I don't think you should do this because when I did that, I had this and this and this happen. I lost this. It cost me this after that. And it took me this long to recover from it. And I could have done this instead. But let me know what you think in the comments below if you made it this far. I hope everything is going well with you. You're taking care of yourselves and the ones you love. This has been me talking about what being a confrontationalist is superficially. Again, this is something I do plan on fleshing out more thoroughly, and the sun is coming out. I don't know how you can see it on mine, but we'll see it in the GoPro maybe. Now,
back into the silence.